هم قوم نوح وأصحاب الرس وثمود وعاد وفرعون وإخوان لوط وأصحاب الأيكة وقوم تبع كل كذب الرسل فحق وعيد أفعينا بالخلق الأول بل هم في لبس من خلق جديد ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد صدق الله العلي العظيم. الفاتحة. الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد الشهيد الحسين حسين الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد الشهيد الحسين دہائی دہائی خدا را دہائی یہ دشت بلا میں ہے کیسی تباہی بہایا ہے کس نے یہ خون محمد قیامت یہ ڈھائی ہے کس نے الہی جوانوں بزرگوں کو مارا گیا ہے شہیدوں میں شامل ہے ننھا سپاہی حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین الشہید الشہید الحسین کیا جشن برپا یوں اہل حواس نے شہیدوں کے لاشوں پہ ڈانکے بجائے جلا ڈال آل محمد کے خیمے سکینہ کے منہ پر تماچے لگائے، جو بیمار تھا اس کا بستر نہ چھوڑا، نبی زادیوں پر بھی درے چلائے، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین الشہید الشہید الحسین۔ اٹھی اپنے مرکز سے بنت محمد، سیاہ شب کی چادر میں چہرہ چھپا کر، گئی کربلا میں تو اس نے یہ دیکھا، ہے بوسیدہ کرتے میں ایک لاش بے سر، بدن سارا تیروں سے چھلنی پڑا ہے، لہو میں ہے ڈوبا ہوا سارا پیکر، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین الشہید الشہید الحسین۔ تڑپ کر وہ چلائی شبیر بیٹا، لہو میں نہائے ہو سر بھی جدا ہے، تبر کس نے مارے ہے سارے بدن پر، یہ تیروں پہ کس نے جنازہ رکھا ہے، کہاں ہے میرا لال عباس بولو، میں پوچھوں گی اس یہ کیسا ہوا ہے، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین الشہید الشہید الحسین، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین الشہید الشہید الحسین۔ صدا سن کے زہرا کی تھارے غازی، جدا تن سے سر تھا تو شانے کٹے تھے، غم و یاس و حسرت میں مجروح مضطر، کہے کیا کہ دریا کنارے پرے تھے، سوئے الکما اب جو بی بی نے دیکھا، وفاؤں کی ساحل پہ جھنڈے پرے تھے، حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین، حسین الشہید الشہید الحسین۔ ادھر درد و غم کی ستائی تھی زینب، جو وحشت کے جنگل میں حیدر بنی تھی، کبھی خاک اڑاتی کبھی اشک پٹھی، جو کنبے کے پہرے پہ تنہا کھڑی تھی، सकीना के सक्का को आवाज देकर गमे शाहिदीन में बुका कर रही थी। हुसैन अल गरीब अल हुसैन, हुसैन शहीद अल हुसैन। गुजारिश है आका हमारी यही, हमको रोज़े पे मौला बुला लीजिए, हमको ज़वार मौला बना लीजिए, हमको दामन में मौला छुपा लीजिए। गिरफ्तार ज़ोरो सितम हम हुए हैं, मुसीबत से हमको बचा लीजिए। हुसैन अल गरीब अल हुसैन, हुसैन शहीद अल हुसैन, हुसैन अल गरीब अल हुसैन, हुसैन शहीद अल हुसैन। पर मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद सलवात। सूरत मुबारकत अल-फातिहा।
Assalamu alaikum. Can I now invite Muhammad Jawad Akbar Ali for student lecture, please? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. I would like to start by sending my condolences to the Imam of our time for this sorrowful occasion. Arabaeen represents the 40th day after Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was martyred. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam stood for justice and fought against tyranny. As a result, he was slaughtered thirsty on the plains of Karbala. In honor of his ultimate sacrifice to humanity, millions of people marched towards his shrine on Arabaeen to renew their allegiance to the Imam. History records that Arabaeen is the largest annual pilgrimage in Iraq, whereby more than 20 million people visit Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam to pay their respect to him. There is no doubt that Imam al-Hussein's legacy continues to live on, and that he will forever remain a beacon of hope and light during dark and difficult times to everyone, irrespective of faith. Gandhi says, "I learned from Hussein how to achieve victory while being oppressed." Charles Dickens says, "If Hussein fought to quench his worldly desires, then I do not understand why his sister, wife, and children accompanied him." It stands to reason, therefore, that he sacrificed purely for Islam. Many ask, why is the number 40 important? The number 40 holds tremendous significance when entering the realm of spirituality. For Jesus wandered in the desert for 40 days in order to gain purification, and Moses traveled through the desert for 40 days before returning at his house. Noah preserved the sacredness of life by sailing his ark for 40 days and 40 nights. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has said, "The earth mourns the death of a believer for 40 mornings." Arabaeen marks a very important turning point in Islamic history, as it is believed that the family of Imam al-Hussein returned back to Karbala and were the first people to perform his ziyarah. This event symbolically reminds the believers of Imam al-Hussein's core message, which is establishing justice and opposing corruption and tyranny. When remembering Arabaeen, it is vital that we also remember the female saint, Lady Zainab, for she too endured suffering and pain after the death of her brother. Lady Zainab can be seen as the embodiment of perfection throughout her life, especially during hard times, as she was responsible for ensuring that her brother's sacrifice reached future generations while being held captive and humiliated in Sham. Although Imam Hussein was martyred 1400 years ago, his name is still mentioned today, not only due to his massive sacrifice, but due to his moral ethics. This is not surprising as he was raised in the household of Ali, which shows the importance of fatherhood. My point is that a role of a father should not be undermined, for it is a role given to him by Allah. The father should teach the child and raise him well, so that you don't affect your child physically and mentally in the long run. Finally, it is noticeable that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam highlighted on the importance of attaining knowledge, as it transforms you into a better human being and elevates your status in the eyes of Allah. The Imam says, seeking knowledge will lead you towards wisdom and elevation. It is known that the most successful personalities in this world take action even when it's not necessary. Allah knows that we don't always feel motivated to pray 5 times a day, but He doesn't accept that as an excuse. Perhaps the key message here is that success is achieved through discipline, not motivation. Salawat.
Thank you, Muhammad Jawad. Could you have a loud salawat for Muhammad Jawad? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight's program is sponsored by Rima and Salim Jalil, Nazir Mauji, Mehboob and Rubab by Najfi, Qasim and Batul Damani, and Iram Haider. Please recite Surah Fatiha for marhumins of their families. The names displayed on the screen and all marhumins. Surah Al-Fatiha. You are kindly requested to attend Majlis Aza at Brother Siptan's Raza's residence on Friday, 8th of October at 8 p.m. Also tonight, we are honored to welcome the Imam Hussein Blood Donation Campaign. Their desk is set up just outside by the Gents Kitchen. The campaign are taking online registration for Tooting Blood Center at St. George's Hospital for both Saturday the 30th and Sunday the 31st of October 2021. More details are available at the desk. Please do visit. Also, a big thank you to Zishan Moledina and his team for the brilliant Arabaeen display you see here at the front. Similar display was set up at the ladies' hall as well. Can we recite a loud salawat for them? Muhammad. Also, don't forget to donate at the boxes provided in the front or at either desk. You can also donate on the Hyderi website. Can we now invite Sheikh Imran Hussein to the member? صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآله وصحبه. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين. أعني أبا القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، سيما الإمام المنتظر الحجة الثاني عشر، روحي وأرواح العالمين بتراب مقدمه الفداء، واللعنة على أعدائهم من الآن إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم على إن الحسين باب من أبواب الجنة. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I have been honored to be at your presence on the eve of Arabaeen, the eve which is of great calamity for the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, the eve which the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam will go back to the plains of Karbala to give their comfort to Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. The hadith which I have recited in front of yourself, it's a hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, where he mentions ala innal Hussein babun min abwabil jannah. Are you not aware that surely Hussein is a door from the doors of heaven and paradise? Mawla Hussein alayhi salam's position in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cannot comprehend. When we read the hadith of the Imams alayhi salam, which says, Man zara qabr al-Hussein kaman zara Allahu ala arshih. Whoever visits the grave of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, it is as if you have visited the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the magnitude and the closeness and the proximity of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as this eve is in commemoration of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, and in particular we have given this the name Majlis Ziyarat Arabaeen, or Chihillam itself, we call it in Urdu. This love, this concept of ziyarah, it's a very beautiful concept. Those who would like to bring about a revolution in their lives come to the door of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, Inna al-Hussein misbah al-huda. Indeed, Mawla Hussein alayhi salam is a lantern of guidance, was safinatun najah, and the ark of salvation. And then the Imams alayhi salam have said about Mawla Hussein alayhi salam that the ark of salvation of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam وَأَسْرَعُهَا وَأَوْسَعَهَا إِلَى اللَّهِ subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those who have been bestowed with this blessing to embark on the ark of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, it is the most swift, efficient, and quickest to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Imams themselves have said that all of us, kulluna safina, all of us have an ark of salvation. However, the one which will reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quicker is the ark of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. And then in another hadith, it mentions that, this is a beautiful hadith, that on the day of judgment, those who are the reciters, those who participate in arranging the Azadari of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, they will even go 40,000 years before even the ulama on the day of judgment to heaven itself. Mawla Hussein alayhi salam's Azadar, the Mawla Hussein alayhi salam's people who recite the Latam, people who recite Masahib, they will be going to paradise before the ulama. VIP is given service to the Mawla Hussein alayhi salam's Azadar. There's a hadith which I would like to elaborate further today, which is this. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, has mentioned, Man aradallahu bihi al-khair, qadhafa fi qalbihi hubb al-Husayn, hubb ziyarati. This hadith is a very important hadith. In this hadith, the translation is Man aradallahu. Whoever for whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala desires what? Khair. What do we understand khair in English? In Urdu or Gujarati, khair is goodness. قَذَفَ فِي قَلْبِ حُبُّ الْحُسَيْنِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will throw in his heart the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Not merely just the love. Many people are claiming on the TV channels as well that we love Hussein alayhi salam. Yeah, right. Do you really love him? Go to the Ziyarat of Arabaeen. Where is your love for Mawla Hussein alayhi salam? Practical love has to be shown. The practical love is mentioned in this hadith that there's two parts of this love. Hubbul Hussein wa hubbu ziyarati. And the love of visiting him in Karbala. Because when it comes to test, many of us fail to keep up to our promises. Even in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He tests His believers, then they are truly known whether they are fulfilling their loyalty towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. Now this word, qadhafa, it's very important. Those who know, I know, mashallah, there's people in this gathering who speak Arabic. There are two words in the Arabic language. One is qadhafa, which is to ram, means to throw, or ilqa, to throw. The other word which we normally hear is hiba. Hiba means gift or hadiyah. The word wahaba is not used in this hadith. The word grant, to bestow, favor. That hasn't been used. The word cast and throw has been used in this, meaning that the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam has a requirement. It has a requirement from a person for them to be given this amana of the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Now, what do we understand about the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam? What is khair? We normally in our culture understand khair as goodness, wealth, children, and materialistic and spiritual. All of this is the understanding of us of khair. This is our understanding. But today I would like to give you another dimension of khair, which is beautiful. Now this hadith is from again Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He says in this hadith, now I'm trying to explain khair. That khair is not only goodness itself. There is a more of a spiritual and a metaphysical dimension of khair, which is beautiful. When I share the meaning, you will enjoy it. It says, قال أبو عبد الله عليه السلام إن الخير نهر في الجنة. This khair, which is من أراد الله به الخير قذف في قلبي حب الحسين وحب زيارته. Now when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala desires khair, now the other meaning is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala desires paradise for you, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala desires paradise for you, or you to be bestowed with a blessing to go to paradise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. What is his khair in heaven? Let me explain. Innal khair nahrun fil jannah. It is a river in paradise. Makhrajuhu min al-kawthar. This river in paradise, it's a branch from the stem of Kawthar. As you know, Kawthar is the pool of Kawthar which we are all aware of. Khair is a stem from it. Then it says, Wal Kawthar. This Kawthar, this main river itself, where is its roots? Where does it start from? A river has a start. It has a beginning and an end. Now this Kawthar, from which the river or the actual bank of Khair is running, it starts from Kawthar, and the beginning of Kawthar is from It says in the hadith, min saqillah. This Kawthar stems from the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It stems from the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning that Kawthar is something which is originated from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then it says, alayhi, and this river, al-khair in heaven, alayhi manazil al-awsiya. Now this river is not an ordinary river. It's a river which has people living around it. It has a dwelling. It has a neighborhood. Who is this living around this neighborhood of khair? Manazil al-awsiya. It is the neighborhood of the wasis, the imams around this khair, this river. وَشِيَعَتُهُمْ, and their Shias, meaning us. Then the hadith continues, عَلَى حَافَتَيْ ذَلِكَ النَّهَرِ جَوَارِ, and both sides of this river, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made nabitat, has made trees, has made vegetation and plants. قَلَعَتْ وَاحِدًا, when one is plucked from it, what happens? نَبَتَتْ أُخْرَى بِإِسْمِ ذَلِكَ النَّهَرِ, another one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala embeds and seeds there again. Qawlullah Azza wa Jal. Now, we say this now. Let me explain further. Now, in our ordinary language, we say Jazakallahu khair. So when we say Jazakallahu khair in our normal language, in our ordinary language, and when we're saying Assalamu alaikum and thank you so much, when we say that, we are actually saying to, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you with the river of khair in heaven itself. And the stem is Fatimatu Zahra salamu alayha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And as you are aware, that the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it says, Innal Hussein misbahul huda wa safinatun najah. So those who desire to reach khair, hubbul Hussein wa hubbu ziyaratihi, they need to love Fatimatu Zahra salamu alayha. Fatimatu Zahra, she is the one who is the mother of Ummul A'imma. She is Ummul A'imma. And from her, you will reach Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Let us continue further. The status of us when we go to the ziyarat of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. That this ziyarah, it is the greatest way of gaining the radha and the pleasure of Fatimatu Zahra salamu alayha. This is, amongst our ulama, they have regarded the ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam one of the greatest ibadah which a person can perform in their lives itself. Why? Have we not read the hadith of our Imams alayhi salam, where it says that indeed Fatimatu Zahra salamu alayha goes to the Zawar of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala, and she says for them istighfar and praise for them itself. Which other ibadah which we perform, worship we perform, that Fatimatu Zahra salamu alayha comes and seeks forgiveness for you itself? There's another hadith which says from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, where he says that when we do azadari, when we lament, this is a means of sila rahim to the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Allahu Akbar. It says that by this you are doing upon us charity. The Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam say, when you remember us. And as you know, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam has said, Rahimallahu Shi'atana. May the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon the Shias itself. We the Shias have been blessed with a great blessing of the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. It's not merely mu'mineen who cherish the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, even the angels themselves, Malak. Let's go higher, stage higher than this. Even the Anbiya and the Rusul seek permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to gain the maqam and the position which a Zair receives by visiting Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. That the Malaika, the Anbiya, they themselves yearn to go for the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. Let me continue. Now, the question arises that this Jannah or this Nahar which is in heaven, which has been bestowed for the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam and the Zair Imam Hussain alayhi salam, is this only the benefit which you receive? That any Zair which goes to the Ziyarah of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he received the merits of going to heaven? Is that the only reward? No, brothers. The position of a Zair is so great that the concept of Jannah is of 3 levels. There are 3 Jannahs for the Zair of Mawla Hussain alayhi salam. One in the dunya, one in Barzakh, and one in the paradise itself. And I'll mention this, that how you will see that those who are the Zair of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, today you go to Karbala, you will see millions of Zair. How is the etiquette? How is the akhlaq? You'll be astounded. You will see ulama giving and come, tafaddalu, come here. I would like to serve you. Why? Because you're the Zair of Mawla Hussain alayhi salam. And Marhum Ayatollah Adil Alawi, you probably know him, the student of Ayatollah Marashi Najafi, who was a great scholar who is buried opposite the haram of Sayyidah Ma'suma Qum. He has mentioned that if you truly want to see the Ansar of Imam Zamana, Ajjalahu Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif, go to the plains of Arabaeen, to Karbala, and you will see the characteristics of the Zairin and the Ansar of Mawla Imam Mahdi Ajjalahu Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif. Why? Because there's a hadith from the Imams alayhi salam, Alamatul Mu'min Khamsa. There are 5 signs of a believer, and from one of those signs is Ziyaratul Arabaeen. Zairin of Mawla Hussain alayhi salam are blessed with having a seal that you have complete Iman. Unfortunately, there are some distorted, deviant people as well who have said that the concept of ziyarat of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Arabaeen, is something which has been taken from the Jews. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from this type of belief. There's people out there, mentioning no names. They're saying that 40th is something which the Jews have, and the Shias have taken this, and the concept of ziyarat Arabaeen has no value in Shiism. Have you not read? They say that we should mourn only for 3 days. There's no need to entertain them, but I'm making you aware. Have you not read a hadith where the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, the skies and the heavens cried for 40 days and night? Have you not seen today that you talk about 40 days? Have you not seen 1400 years have passed until today? The Ra'sul Huras, the stone on which the head of Mawla Hussain alayhi salam was placed, it shed tears. Have we not read Ziyarat Nahiya when Imam Zamana Ajjalahu Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, where he says, oh my Imam, oh my father, oh my grandfather, even though I have been born many years after you, but I will shed tears of blood upon you. Do we not recite Dua Nudba? Ayna talib damil maqtul al-Karbala? Where is the one who would take the revenge of the martyrdom of Mawla Hussain alayhi salam? There are millions of people are going to this ziyarat of Arabaeen alayhi salam. This divine journey, this spiritual journey, a journey which our ulama participate, a journey in which you are becoming closer and increasing your position in the eyes of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, and gaining the pleasure of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha. The hadith continues, where it says that this Jannah, which is of 3 levels, dunya and the barzakh. The Imams salam have mentioned, this is in our Shia books, they have said that inna arwah al-mu'minina yarawna ala Muhammad alayhi salam fi jabalin rawdah. Now, barzakh, what is barzakh? First of all, barzakh is a transition from this dunya to the hereafter, and it's a period which we are waiting until the day of judgment. Now, our Imams alayhi salam have said the Shias will be blessed and will be given the tawfiq to meet Abu Abdullah Hussein and the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, as long as they are the Zair of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. What will they receive? Will they merely meet the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam? No. The hadith says, this is the status of a Zair. Inna arwah al-mu'minina yarawna ala Muhammad alayhi salam fi jabalin radwa. Now, surely the believers in barzakh will see the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam on a mountain called Radwa. فَتَأْكُلُ مِنْ طَعَامِهِمْ, and they will eat from the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. وَتَشْرَبُ مِنْ شَرَابِهِمْ, and they will drink from the drinks which the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are going to drink. وَتُحَدِّثُ مَعَهُمْ فِي مَجَالِسِهِمْ, and they will discuss with the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. This is the position. Then it says, Hatta yaqumu, and this would be given as a blessing to all of the Shias who are the Zair of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Hatta yaqumu qami ali Muhammad alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. So these people will be blessed with this blessing until the return of our Imam Mahdi ajallahu ta'ala faraj al-sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Then it says, فَإِذَا قَامَ قَائِمُنَا. So when our Imam, our 12th Imam, 12th Hujjah reappears, بَعَثَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give these mu'mineen, the Zaireen of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, the privilege to meet Imam Zamana and be a part of the army of Imam Zamana. وَأَقْبَلُوا مَعَهُمْ, and they will proceed towards Imam Zamana. وَيُلَبُّونَ زُمُرًا فَزُمُرًا, and they will go in groups of troops and troops towards Imam Zamana, Imam Mahdi. فَإِنْ ذَلِكَ يَرْتَابُونَ الْمُبْتِلُونَ, and then they will take revenge. Now the word in this hadith, it says يُلَبُّونَ زُمُرًا فَزُمُرًا. They will go in responding to Mawla Abu Abdullah, Mawla Imam Mahdi Ajjallahu Fajr Sharif. What does yulabbuna mean? Yulabbuna talbiya. As we say in Hajj, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. It says yulabbuna zumarahum. They will respond to the call of Imam Mahdi. What will be the first nida? What will be the first call of Imam Zamana when he reappears? Ala inna jaddi al-Hussein qutila atshana. This will be the first nida of Imam Zamana. That ala inna al-Hussein al-Jaddi kutila bi Karbala atshana. O people, are you not aware that my grandfather was sacrificed thirsty? And these mu'mineen will answer and respond to the call of Imam Zamana Ajjallahu ta'ala faraj al-sharif. And then, how many meals will we eat? Normally, how many meals do we have in our normal daily life? 2, 3. Say 2 or 3. Breakfast, afternoon, and lunch. Now these people who are in barzakh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allahum rizquhum bukratan wa ashiya. This is the ayah of the Quran which is illustrating about the rizq which the mu'mineen will receive in heaven, in barzakh itself. They will receive a morning breakfast and an evening food. There will be no lunch at all in barzakh itself. The food will be plenty and delicious for yourselves. This is the position of the Za'irin of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. And then the hadith continues. What is the greatest ni'mah we can have in Bihisht? What is the greatest ni'mah we can have? The two greatest ni'mah we can have in Bihisht is al-mujawaratul ahlul bayt alayhimus salam. It's being in the neighborhood of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. It is the greatest ni'mah for us, the believers. And the second ni'mah is to have a pious wife or a spouse in heaven itself. And this will only be given to the Za'irin of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. In the Quran, we hear about the concept of hurs. Allahumma zawwajna min hur al-een. We say this. Hur al-een are of a lower level of beauty than our ladies in this dunya. Our sisters who are married will be more beautiful than the hur al-eens in heaven, which the men will be given. Why? This is about the status of our sisters itself. The reason why is that the beauty, the hur are being created for our service. They have not done a test. Whereas we as human beings and our sisters, they have performed the beauty of performing perfection of their soul. The perfection of the soul is more weightier than the perfection of the body itself. And for this reason, in Surah Rahman, it says, Fihinna, everyone recite Surah Rahman. Fihinna khayratun hisan. Fihinna khayratun hisan. That in heaven there will be ladies, beautiful ladies. And the word khayrat has been used. Meaning that the ladies which have the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, they are regarded khairat. Brothers, those of you who have a woman who is a pious mu'minah, you should pray 2 rak'ah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you a partner like this, who is helping you and assisting you on the day of judgment, and in heaven you will thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you have an anis, you have someone as a companion for yourself to enjoy the blessings of heaven itself. Who is going to go to heaven? How do we know? How do we know that we are the qualified and we are the ones who have been bestowed to be Ahlul Bihisht? There has to be a sign. What is the sign? Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam says, Man aradallahu an ya'lama annahu min ahlil jannah فَلْيَعْرِضْ حُبَّنَا عَلَىٰ قَلْبِهِ. If you truly would like to see whether you are truly a lover and truly a person of Ahlul Bihisht, then test yourself with our love. فَلْيَعْرِضْ حُبَّنَا. Put our love of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam in your heart and test it. Whether you truly love Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, whether you are willing to take a day off when it's the Majlis of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, whether when you make your decisions, you think about the radha of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, whether the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam will be happy in this decision, or whether our characteristics is the characteristics of not of the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. فَلْيَعْرِض. The word فَلْيَعْرِض means expose yourself with our love in your life. If you find that the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam takes priority in your life, it takes a criteria in your decision making, then indeed you are from the people of Bihisht itself. The hadith then continues. فَإِنَّ قَلْبَهُ فَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ. So indeed your heart is a believer. وَمَنْ كَانَ لَنَا حُبًّا لَنَا. Now, one who has this love, the Imams alayhi salam in this hadith elaborate that what does the love of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam demand from us? Our brothers, they claim that they love the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. But that love which we are told from the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is not merely love, but it's a requirement. There is a condition with the love of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. What is it? It says, Man kana lana muhibban lana. Whoever is the lover of us, فَلْيَرْغَبْ فِي زِيَارَةِ قَبْرِ الْحُسَيْنِ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. If you love the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, upon you is to desire the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. فَلْيَرْغَبْ فِي زِيَارَةِ قَبْرِ الْحُسَيْنِ عَلَيْهِ السَّلام. Then it says, فَمَنْ كَانَ لِلْحُسَيْنِ زُوَارًا. فَمَنْ كَانَ لِلْحُسَيْنِ زُوَارًا. And whoever is a zawar. And whoever is a zawar. Now the word zawar in the Arabic language, it's a word of mubalagha. Mubalagha, you probably understand. Mubalagha means exaggeration. You have to be not a person who's been to the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam once in your lifetime. I have a question to put forward to my brothers and my sisters. How many of us have been for the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam? How many of us have been to Dubai? How many of us have been to other places of resorts, of vacation? And how many of us have, at the age of 30, 40, and have still not been blessed with the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam? These days of Arabaeen, these days are a means of changing our lifestyle. These ayam, these days are in which we can renew our oath and our love and wila to the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. So being a Zair of Mount Hussein alayhi salam once in your lifetime is not sufficient. The Imams alayhi salam have insisted that you need to be, this is not my words, this is the words of the Imams alayhi salam, وَمَنْ كَانَ لَنَا مُحِبًّا فَلْيَرْغَبْ فِي زِيَارَةِ قَبْرِ الْحُسَيْنِ alayhi salam. And whoever is our lover, then indeed upon him is to desire the visitation of the grave of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. عرفنا بالحب لنا أهل البيت عليهم السلام. We know our lovers by those who go for the visitation of the grave of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. وَكَانَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ. And indeed he will be from the people of heaven. وَكَانَ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ وَمَنْ لَمْ يَكُنْ لِلْحُسَيْنِ زَوَّارٍ كَانَ نَاقِصُ الْإِيمَانِ. Kana naqisul iman. And whoever has not been blessed with the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, he will have a defect, incomplete iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then in another hadith, muntaqizul iman. And as you know, that the hadith from our Imams alayhi salam, alamatul mu'min khamsa. And from it is ziyaratul Arabaeen. Ziyaratul Arabaeen, in the eyes of Sheikh Mufid and other great ulama, they have said it is wajib upon us at least once in your lifetime to go for the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. This is the importance of the ziyarah. Can I request a loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I hope you're enjoying and benefiting from these ahadith from the Imams alayhi salam. It's a topic which normally we don't talk on the pulpits. We normally talk about it in Karbala, not in our pulpits, on Arabaeen itself. The reason why I want to highlight is for you to be blessed with this ni'mah. The hadith from Imams alayhi salam says, again another hadith, Ya Ali. Now Ya Ali is a companion of the Imam alayhi salam. He says, Zuril Hussein, wala tada'hu. Visit the grave of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Qultu, ma liman ata min al-thawab. The companion asked, what would be the reward for who visits the grave of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam? He says, qala. Now this is something, I'm going to give you this hadith. This is a practical hadith which you'll see the demonstration. Outside, implemented in Iraq as well. That you find millions of people walking from Karbala to walking towards Karbala from Najaf, and walking from Samira, Nasiriya, from Mosul, from all places, all cities of Iraq itself. What is the significance of this mush? Why do we walk towards Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam? What is the merit? I want to highlight and share the hadith from the Imams alayhi salam, the importance of this walking towards Karbala. It says, Man atahu mashiyan. Now the Imam alayhi salam, he illustrates and mentions the word mashiyan. Masha yamshi means walking. Man atahu mashiyan. Whoever comes to Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, mashiyan, walking. It says, Kataballahu bi kulli khatwatin hasana. Allahu Akbar. Every step which you take towards Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will write for you one good deed for you. وَمَحَا عَنْهُ سَيِّئًا, and you will wipe out one bad deed of yours. وَرَفَعَ لَهُ daraja, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase your station, your maqam, in the Hussein alayhi salam. The more you visit Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, the more your position will be elevated. The more you love someone, the more you follow their footsteps. This is the effect you will find in the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. Then it says, فَإِذَا أَتَاهُ, and if someone comes to Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, وَقَّلَ اللَّهُ بِهِ مَلَكَيْنِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the beauty of the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will endorse two angels, malakain. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will appoint two angels. What will they do? يَكْتُبَانِ مَا خَرَجَ مَنْ فِيهِ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ. Allahu Akbar. That whatever goodness you do towards Najaf to Karbala, any goodness. What does it mean? That if you ask any fake questions, if you listen to any lecture, if you recite any Quran, if you recite any Noha, if you help any mu'min, all of this will be written down as goodness. Does it stop there? Are there these? No, it continues. It's so beautiful. Wala ghayra dhalika. Nothing else. فَإِذَا إِنْصَرَفَ وَدَّعُوهُ. And when you have visited Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, and you perform the akhiri ziyarah of al-wida, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, وَقَالُوا Ya wali Allah. Wali, what does the word wali mean? Wali means the beloved. By visiting the grave of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, you will be bestowed the title to become the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya wali Allah, maghfuran lak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven you. Then it says, وَأَنْتَ مِنْ حِزْبِ اللَّهِ. وَأَنْتَ مِنْ Hizbillah, and you are from the party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you are amongst the true followers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَحِزْبُ رَسُولِهِ, and you are from amongst the party of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. وَحِزْبُ أَهْلِ بَيْتِهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, and you are from the party of Rasulullah and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. How many times did I repeat the word Hizb? How many times? I said Hizbullah, and then I said Hizbu Rasulihi wa Hizbu Ahlu Bayti. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention 3 different parties, those who go for the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam? It's a question. Why is there a repetition of the word Hizb of Allah, Hizb of the Rasulullah, and Hizb of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam? What is the reason? The people of Hizbullah, according to this ayah, min Hizbillah, they are the Christians and the Jews. As we have the hadith, Al-Nasu Iyalullah. We have the hadith that human beings are the Iyalullah. They are the family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Christians and Jews are deemed as Hizbullah, min Hizbillah. And as you can see this is evident that every year, many hundreds of Christians go to the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. And when they go to the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, they may go as Christians or go as Jews. But when they return back, they will be saying, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, Aliyun Waliyullah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is the blessing of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. That the door of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam is open to everyone. Inna al-Hussein misbahul huda. He is the lantern of guidance for everyone, all of mankind. And this is the reason why this hadith is trying to allude to Hizbullah. And then the hadith continues, then it says, وَحِزْبُ Rasulillah. And then the Hizb Rasulullah. Who are the Hizb Rasulullah? They are our Sunni brothers. Our Sunni brothers are Hizbullah. Hizb Rasulullah. They are from Hizb Rasulullah, meaning that they believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but they do not fulfill the completion of Iman by the wilayat of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. So they are not from the Hizb of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And Mawla Hussein alayhi salam gives our Sunni brothers the privilege to go to the ziyarat of Arabaeen. You may ask the question that the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam is maqbool. It's something which all ulama say that when whoever goes, their ziyarah is accepted. And we as Shias believe that a a'mal which is performed without the love of Ali Muhammad, it's not accepted. So how are the a'mal and the ziyarah of our Sunni brothers accepted when they go for the ziyarah of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam? Our ulama, in particular Ayatollah Fadil Safar, he mentions that Mawla Hussein alayhi salam gives that privilege to them and gives them the privilege that once in their lifetime, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them the tawfiq to accept Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, accept Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. One who comes to the door of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam, indeed he will accept the wilayat of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. This is the blessing of Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. And this is the reason why we find that in particular in Pakistan, that so much propaganda and so much campaign from the government is done in regards to Azadari Mawla Hussein alayhi salam to protect and to prevent people from participating in Azadari Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. This Azadari of Mawla Hussein, these Majlis of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, those who are not in Karbala, Ayatollah Amini. Ayatollah Amini. Everyone has heard of the name Ayatollah Amini. Ayatollah Amini is the one who wrote Al-Ghadir. 12 volumes, 14 volumes on Mawsu'atul Ghadir, talks about the events of Ghadir in complete details and from Sunni references. He says to his son that, "O son," he says two things. "O son, I insist upon you to recite the ziyarat of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, ziyarat Ashura, daily. What I have received with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not because of my books, it's all because of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam." And then the hadith says also that Ayatollah Amini, when he speaks to his son, he says, "O son, participate in these majalis. Indeed, these majalis is your means of ziyarat of the marqad of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. It is your measure and your way of doing the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So today's gathering of ours is as if we are doing the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam. One story, and then I'll go to the Masahib. There is a alim, you may have heard of the name Ayatollah Sheikh Sibawayh. Ayatollah Sheikh Sibawayh was a great Shia alim who lived about 50 years ago. And he used to live in Karbala. And in Karbala, before the time of Saddam, Al-Haramayn, didn't used to be like that. It used to be a plain desert itself. There'd be two shrines of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam and Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and the whole area around it, it was very different. There was a khadim, there was a servant whose name was Sheikh Abbas. His name was Sheikh Abbas. You know what he used to do? He left Iran and he was living in Karbala for the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. What did he do? He used to, when Za'ireen and there would be the prayer time, he used to get the prayer mat and used to put the prayer mat so that people can perform salah, and he used to give water to the Za'ireen of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. This was his duty. And he was respected by everyone. One day, Sheikh Abbas became very critically ill. He was no longer able to go to serve the Za'ireen of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. And everyone knew him, all the ulama knew him. And they respected him. Because he is a Za'ir, he is a person who serves the Za'ireen of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. The ulama decided that today we'll go to Sheikh Abbas's house and visit him. They visit Sheikh Abbas. Sheikh Abbas was completely paralyzed. He could not move at all. This was how critical he was. He was in the throes of death. He was in the throes of death. He was not able to move. When the ulama entered him and saw Sheikh Abbas, they couldn't say nothing. Suddenly Sheikh Abbas started moving. He started saying, "Assalamu alayka ya Nabi Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen." He stood up from his bed as if he was dead. He stood up and started to say salams. "Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Assalamu alayka ya Fatima al-Zahra. Assalamu alayka ya Hassan. Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah." He said the salams upon the Imams alayhimus salam, and then he fell back and died. The ulama were shocked to see that what a blessing this Sheikh Abbas has received, that at the throes of death, the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, Imam Hussein, Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra, Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, all of them have come to his assistance in his time of need. All of this news spread in Karbala that this is what happened with Sheikh Abbas. Ayatollah Sheikh Sibawayh got a phone call. Said, oh Sheikh, we would like you to perform the Salah Mayyat of Sheikh Abbas. That Sheikh Abbas, he was a khadim of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, and he's been blessed with this privilege to see the Imams alayhi salam and Rasulullah at the throes of death. He said, Inshallah, I will perform the salah. He puts the phone down and starts weeping. Ya Allah, I am a great alim, a great ayatullah, and I have not been blessed with this ni'mah. He cries and faints. And in the dream, he sees Sheikh Abbas. Sheikh Abbas says, "Oh, Sheikh Sibawayh, please perform my Salatul Mayyit." Sheikh Sibawayh discusses and asks him, Sheikh Abbas, what have you received from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam? He says that I have found that Imam Hussein alayhi salam came to me at the throes of death. Mawla Hussein alayhi salam came to me at the time when I was being buried, and when the shroud was being put on me. At the time of the ghusl, Mawla Hussein alayhi salam came to my assistance. Then the hadith says, Sheikh Abbas says, Kullul khair fi hubbil Hussein. All of goodness I have found, it is the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Make this a pledge with yourself that whenever you would like to do goodness, do it for the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. If you do it for the love of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, Mawla Hussein alayhi salam will come to your assistance when you are in the greatest of needs. Let me finish this hadith and then I'll come to the Masai. One part and then I'll conclude or finish. And then the hadith says, Wallahi, I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, La tara an-nar. That the one who is a Za'ir of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam, he will not see the fire. Bi'aynik abadan. Physically with his naked eyes, he will never see the fire himself. Wala taraka. And the fire will never see you as well. Wala tat'amka abada. And neither the fire of hell will eat you, will burn you away, will never regard you as a fuel of heaven, of hell itself. This is the greatness of the Azadari and the Za'irin of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Today, we are here to mourn Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. It's the Arabaeen of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. In this Arabaeen, on the eve of Arabaeen, I like to talk about the masab of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, when he was asked, Ya Mawlai, Aina ashaddul masaib? Where was the greatest masaib which was inflicted upon you? Imam Sajjad alayhi salam said, Asham, Asham, Asham. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam said 3 times, Asham, Asham, Asham. We do not comprehend when we say Asham, Asham, what were the masaib, what were the calamities which caused Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam to cry for 20 years for the grief, the calamities which he faced in Sham itself. One of them, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam has mentioned, I will not mention all of the 7, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam have mentioned there were 7 calamities which he will never forget, which he was inflicted in Sham itself. He says, number 1, that the ladies of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam were paraded in the bazaar of Sham. Not merely paraded in the bazaar of Sham, but the people threw rubbish on us. They've poured hot water on us. Whatever they had in their hands, they've thrown stones at us. There comes a stage in the bazaar that a woman throws a fire on the amama of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, and Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam starts crying, says, my head is burning, my amama is burning, please assist me, please assist me. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, why could he not take the burning wood from his head? Imam Sajjad alayhi salam was in shackles. He was not able to move at all. If he moved, it would maybe Sakina would be saying, oh my uncle, oh my brother, I will die because you have been chained in the same shackle itself. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, when he was paraded in the bazaar of Sham, he was bowing down as taking consideration for all of the orphans of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The Masa'ib of Sham are so great that Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam remembered always in his life. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says that they took us through the neighborhood of the Christians. And the Christians said, these are the household of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. These are the ones who killed our forefathers. Now it is our time to take revenge from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Allahu Akbar. Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam could not forget this. It's not only Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, it's Bibi Zainab Salamullah, Kulthum, Sukena bint al-Hussein. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says, I cannot forget when we were in the darbar, in the palace of Yazid, and there were 100,000 people sitting in front of us, and they were looking at us, and they were clapping, and they were beating the drums. We stood there for 6 hours in the palace of Yazid. I cannot forget that. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says, I cannot forget when Yazid La'in was playing with a stick with the head of my father. And there was wine and beer in front of my head of my father. And Sakina was looking at her father, was how he is being treated. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says, the enemies then continued in their atrocities and their crimes. They put the head of my father, Hazrat Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam in front of the horses of Sayyidah Zainab Salamullah alayha, Kulthum. And they were seeing the head of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam moving from side. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says, I cannot forget when they picked the head of my father and kicked it on the floor and pushed it on the floor. I remember that my beloved father was in pain. And then I remember that the head of Qasim was put in front of Bibi Sakina, and Bibi Sakina and all of the children were seeing the head of Qasim in front of them. Then Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says, I cannot forget my sister. I cannot forget my sister Sukena bint al-Hussein. How much atrocities, how much pain, how much brutality she faced itself. Who is Sukena? Who is Sukena? She is Azizatul Hussein. She is the beloved daughter of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. On the day of Ashura, Sayyidah Sakina bintul Hussein, she grabbed onto the leg of the horse and said, "O horse, do not go to the plains of Karbala. If you will go, my Baba will not return back." Then Mawla Hussein alayhi salam says, "Oh my horse, oh Murtajiz, go to the plains of Karbala and fight the enemies." The horse, the Murtajiz, in his own language, nodded towards the leg of Mawla of himself and said, "Oh Mawla, Sakina bintul Hussein has embraced my leg. How can I move without harming her? How can I move? I cannot harm your dear daughter your dear daughter." Then Mawla Hussein alayhi salam comes off his horse, and Sakina says, "Oh father, hal istaslamta lil maut? Oh father, have you gone? Are you preparing yourself to surrender for death?" Mullah Hussein alayhi salam says on the day of Ashura, "O daughter, O Qurrata Aini, O the coolness of my eye, where are my helpers? Where are my Ansar? There is no one here." Mullah Hussein alayhi salam takes Sakina bintul Hussein to Bibi Zainab Salamullah alayha. Who is Zainab Salamullah? Who is Sakina bintul Hussein? In the ziyarat of Sakina bintul Hussein, she is regarded Ruknul Huda. Sakina bintul Hussein is a pillar of guidance. Sakina bintul Hussein, she is the one who is regarded Babul Hawaij. Whoever has any hajat by the eve of Arabaeen, I ask you believers, I ask you sisters, ask in the name of Fatih of Bintul Hussein. Mullah Hussein alayhi salam never rejects a dua which is asked in the name of Sakina bintul Hussein. Sakina bintul Hussein, she loved her father dearly. She is the one who used to sleep on the chest of Mullah Hussein alayhi salam. What happened to her in the plains of Sham, in the prison of Sham, in the dungeon of Sham? She remembered her father. Oh Baba, Aina, where is my father? Where is my father? This cave, this dungeon. How was this dungeon? This was a dungeon which Imam Sajjad alayhi salam says that the scorching heat of Sham was burning us. There was no shelter. Have you heard about the masayib of Sayyidah Sakina bint al-Hussein? She could not even sleep on the dungeon. She says to Imam Sajjad, oh my brother, I cannot sleep in the dungeon. My back is so wounded that when I sleep on my back, the hard floor causes me pain and agony. Are you aware of the masayib of Sakina bint al-Hussein? What happened to her back in the masayib of Sakina bint al-Hussein? Shimr al-La'in whipped her on her back so much that her clothes were drenched in the blood. She was wounded so badly that she could not sleep on her back. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam said, "Oh my dear sister, come, I'll embrace you so that you can sleep in the dungeon of Sham." Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam cries and weeps and remembers that Sakina bint al-Hussein used to take the thorns out of the feet of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. But what are you aware of the masayib of Sakina bint al-Hussein? From one eye, she was not able to see. It says that she was whipped by Shimr so badly that she was blind from one eye. This is how she's only 3 years old. The masayib of Sakina bint al-Hussein are no less than the masayib of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha, who said, "Subbat alayya masayib." If the masayib which have befallen upon me, if they have fallen upon the night, they have returned into dark nights. This is Sakina bint al-Hussein. She could not mourn her father in the plains of Karbala. She was beaten in Karbala. She was not only beaten, but the earlobes she had, the earlobes which she was wearing, which her father had gifted to her on the day of Sham-e-Ghariba, her ears were wounded. It was pulled out, her ears, her necklace, earlobes. Her earlobes were crying, bleeding itself. In Sham, when she wakes up from this dream, from this nightmare, she said, "Oh Father, where are you? I desire to see you." Yazid wakes up. Who is this child crying in this night? The servants of Yazid say that it's Sakina bint al-Hussein. She is craving to see her father's face. Yazid says, "Give her the head of Mullah Hussein alayhi salam." They put the blessed head of Mullah Hussein alayhi salam in a tray and say, "Take it to Sakina bint Hussein in the prison itself." When the tray arrives in front of Sakina bint Hussein and they say, "Oh Sakina, this is a gift for you." And she looks, what is in this gift? The head was covered with a cloth. When she takes the cloth off, she screams, "Oh Baba, is this you? Oh Baba, you are bleeding." It says that Bibi Sakina says, "Oh Baba, Who has dyed you in your blood, oh Baba? Who has decapitated your head, oh Baba? Who will be there for us for when we grow up? Baba, who made us yatim at such a young age? Oh Baba, when we grow up, who will take care of us? Oh Baba. And then Sakina bintul Hussein brings her face closer to the face and the lips of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam and kisses it, and then she faints. Imam Zain Abidin alayhi salam says, "Oh auntie, oh my auntie, Bibi Zainab salamul alayha, go and see if Sakina is still alive." Bibi Zainab says, oh my nephew, Sakina bintul Hussein is not moving. Imam Zain Abidin alayhi salam says, "Sajjad, what's happened to your sister? What's happened to your sister?" Imam Zain Abidin alayhi salam says, "Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un." Oh my auntie, Sakina bintul Hussein has died. Today's Arabaeen, the eve of Arabaeen, when the Qafila left from Syria and wanted to go towards Medina or Karbala, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam said three things to Yazid. "Oh Yazid, give our heads, holy heads back. Number two, give the tabarrukat which you have looted from our tent itself. Number three, allow us to lament and cry upon our martyrs. We have not had a chance to cry and lament upon our martyrs. Whenever we tried to cry and lament upon our martyrs, your soldiers used to bring the swords and used to hit us with the swords. We were not able to lament upon our father, Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Give us this privilege." The heads came one after the other. And the ladies, there was no person to recite Masaib, but the ladies knew the Masaib. One lady said, "Ya Husaina, Ya Abbasa, Ya Qasima, Ya Muhammada, Ya Aliya." They were lamenting by mentioning the names of the Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim. "Oh Qasim, oh Abbas." And they're remembering the Masayib of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. And they're remembering Ya Asgara. They remember Hazrat Ali Asgar alayhi salam, the Masayib and the calamities which Hazrat Ali Asgar alayhi salam faced. Then the heads came. The head of Qasim came. The mother of Qasim took the head. Then the head of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam came in a tray, and Kulthum said, "Give me the head of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam." Then the head of On and Muhammad came, and they asked, who does this head belong to? Bibi Zainab salamullah alayha stayed quiet. Fizza said, "Give these heads. These are the heads of my lady, my lady. I will look after them." Fizza takes the head towards Zainab and says, "Zainab, these are the heads of On and Muhammad. Do you send your condolences, give your last farewell to them." Bibi Zainab salamullah alayha says, "Ya Bibi, Fizza, are you not aware? These are the sacrifice of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. I will not accept it. Take it." Bibi Zainab did not cry upon her own and Muhammad. Then the chadar of Tathir came, and Zainab salamullah said, "Give the chadar of Tathir of my father, give it to me, I will take it." Then the head of Ali Asgar came. Rubab said, "Oh Asgar, oh Asgar, Amithluka yunhar." "Oh Asgar, oh my beloved son, a child like you, is he stabbed in the neck like you are? Like a horse is stabbed in the neck?" Amithluka yunhar. Then finally the head of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam came. And then Bibi Zainab salamullah alayhi said, give me my son, the head of the beloved Mawla Hussein alayhi salam." "Oh ya Habibi, oh my ya Abu Abdullah Hussein, ya Sayyid al-Shuhada." Sayyidah Zainab salamullah alayha started wailing and crying upon the head of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. They cried for 3 days. Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says to her, "Oh auntie, let us prepare to leave tomorrow towards Medina." They leave Medina towards Medina and reach the boundary of Sham. And Sayyidah Zainab Salamullah alayha says, "Oh ladies, let us face towards Sham and let us say our last farewell to Sakina." Bibi Zainab Salamullah alayha say, "Assalamu alayka ya Sakina bintul Hussein." Oh Sakina, you were the depository, you was an amana from Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I promise you, Sakina, I will come back and I will protect you during the nights. Bibi Zainab Salamullah alayha also says to the people of Sham, "Oh Sham, oh the people of Sham, I have left amongst you the beloved daughter of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. Take care of her. She is only 3 years old. She is the beloved daughter of Mawla Hussein alayhi salam. I will come back and guard the custodianship of Sakina bint al-Hussein alayhi salam." Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Mahatma Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
کربلا تعظیم کر آئی بہن شبیر کی جا کے قدموں سے لپٹ تو زینب دل گیر کی قبر سے بے سر بہتر تن اٹھے تعظیم کو دیکھ اس استقبال کو ہائے فرات شمشیر بھی باپ کے ہاتھوں پہ ہے معصوم اصغر تیس نلاب دیکھ اب تک ہے نشانی حرملا کے تیر کی قید سے چھٹ کر ہے آتا قافلہ زوار کا پوچھ لے ان سے ستم زندان کی جاگیر کا کالے محمل میں بیٹھی بی بیا سب دکھ جلی داغ و
سے چھلنی جگر ہے شاہ کی شمشیر کی قید ہو کر جب چلی تھی سر پہ چادر بھی نہ تھی سر کھلے بازار میں تھی واری سے تطہیر کی لاش تھا بے گور و بائی کا بہن سر ننگے تھی بائی ہے اب قبر میں پردے میں ہے شمشیر بھی آج تک رونے کی بیوہ کو اجازت بھی نہ تھی اب رہائی مل گئی ہوگی عزا شبیر کی ننھی سی تربت اصغر کی چھپا لے کر بلا کیا تڑپنا سو سکو گے مادر بے شیر کا مادر اکبر بھی آتی ہے کلیجہ تام کر وہ گلہ کس سے کرے روتی ہوئی تقدیر کی تم سکینہ کو نہ ڈھونڈو تربت عباس پر رہ گئی ہے شام میں وہ لاڈلی شبیر کی کربلا تعظیم کر آئی بہن شبیر کی جا کے قدموں سے لپٹ تو زینب دلگیر کی یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
یا حسین
Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، اپنے بندھے ہاتھوں کو بیمار کے زیور کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، اٹھتی ہوئی آندھی کو محشت کو بیاباں کو چھپتے ہوئے سورج کو تاریکی کو میدان کو چلتے ہوئے خنجر کو نیزے پہ تیرے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، ایک چاند تھا بدلی میں چھپتا تھا نکلتا تھا پردہ در خیمہ کا اٹھتا کبھی گرتا تھا وہ خیمہ لیلا سے ہائے رخصت اکبر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، یاد آتا ہے دلہن کو کٹ کس طرح یہ تھے ایک قطری شہ والا جب خاندوں پہ لائے تھے اس لاش کی قطری کو اس خون بھری چادر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، فضا کو میرا بھائی ماں کہہ کے بلاتا تھا غم اس کا میرے بھائی یہ نام پہ جاتا تھا ایک بہن جو ماں بن کر آئی تھی مادر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، لہراتے ہوئے نیزا اور شمر کو بھرنا آ کے میرے پیچھے ہر بی بی کا وہ چپنا شولوں میں گرے گر کو چنتی ہوئی چادر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں، بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں.
ہے آج بھی وہ گڑیاں، ہے آج بھی وہ زاری، ہے آج بھی پتھر سے سینے سے لہو جاری. روتے ہوئے پتھر کو، پتھر پکڑ کے سر کو، بھولی
نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو. بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو. بھولی نہیں میں
اٹھتی ہوئی آندھی کو، میں شت کو بیاباں کو، چھپتے ہوئے سورج کو، تاریکی کو میداں کو، چلتے ہوئے خنجر کو، نیزے پہ تیرے سر کو.
بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو. بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو. بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو. بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو. بھولی نہیں میں. یا حسین
یا حسین.
یا حسین یا حسین.
یہ تیری زینب لوٹ کے آئی، خون بھرا کرتا بھائی کا لائی، کس طرح نانا میں بتاؤں یہ، نہ بچا غازی نہ بچا بھائی. کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر. کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر. کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر. رو رو کے زینب پکاری نانا کے روزے پہ جا کر. کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر. کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر. دل سے میں نے یہ منظر خود اپنی آنکھوں سے دیکھا، تیروں کی جب درمیان میں بھائی کا لاشا پڑا تھا. گردن پہ آہستہ ظالم ہنس کے چلاتا تھا خنجر. کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر. کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر. کریل جواں میرا اکبر دم توڑتا تھا زمین پر، حلقوم پر تیر خا کر خاموش تھا ننھا اصغر، کربل میں ماں فاطمہ کا ایک پل میں اجڑا بھرا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر۔ مشکیزہ جب چڑھ گیا تب عباس کی آس ٹوٹی، بازو قلم ہو گئے اور زی سے گرا میرا غازی، مقتل میں لاشاں پڑا اور آیا علم خون میں تر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر۔ شام غریبہ کا منظر بھولوں گی میں نہ کبھی بھی، خیمے جلے سب ہمارے، سر سے ردا چھن گئی تھی، حد ہے کہ چھینا گیا تھا بیمار عابد کا بستر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر۔ 12 گلے ایک رسن میں بردے جواں سب بندے تھے، بے پردہ تھی بنت زہرا، بازار سارے سجے تھے، کئی بار گرتا زمین پر نیزے سے عباس کا سر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر۔ اماں کی طرح بھی میں نے لال اپنے دونوں لٹائے، بابا کی طرح بھی خنجر خطبوں کی میں نے چلائے، بازار میں یوں پھری ہوں چادر کو اپنی لٹا کر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر۔ نانا میں نالا سکی ہوں بھیا کی وہ ایک امانت، ویران زندہ میں جس کی ہائے ہوئی تھی شہادت، دامن بھی اس کا جلا اور ظالم نے چھینے تھے گوہر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر۔ رو رو کے زینب پکاری نانا کے روزے پہ جا کر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر، کیا کیا بتاؤں میں نانا، کربل میں کیسے لٹا گھر۔ یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین۔
سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، زینب نے اس زمین کو سونگھا تو یہ کہا سجاد کچھ سنا، سجاد کچھ سنا، مقتل ہے یہ حسین کا، اماں کی ہے صدا، سادات کربلا، سب مل کے سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات آبے تڑپ کے بولے پھوپھی آپ پر فدا، سچ آپ نے کہا، سچ آپ نے کہا، بابا شہید ہوں گے جہاں ہے یہی جگہ، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، کچھ بیبیاں یہاں ہیں کچھ بیبیاں وہاں، کرتی ہوئی فغاں، بکھری ہوئی تھی مقتل سرور میں جا بجا، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، ایک بی بی دشت خونی میں جاتی ہے نہر پر، کہتی بچشم تر، کہتی بچشم تر، عباس دینے آئی ہوں پرسا سکینہ کا، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، قربان تیرے اے میرے ماں جا اے بے وطن، مجبور تھی بہن، مجبور تھی بہن، زندہ میں مجھ سے تیری امانت ہوئی جدا، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، ہر بی بی کر رہی تھی کچھ اس طرح سے گریا، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، سادات کربلا، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین،
ہائے سکینہ ہائے پیاس، ہائے سکینہ ہائے یتیمہ، ہائے مظلومہ، ہائے سکینہ، ہائے سکینہ، یا عباس، یا عباس، یا عباس، یا عباس، یا حسین، یا حسین، یا حسین، یا حسین، بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وأولاد الحسين وأصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبا الفضل العباس باب الحوائج، وأختك زينب الكبرى أم المصائب جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولى وابن مولى، السلام عليك يا غريب الغربة وبعيد المدى، السلطان أبا الحسن مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان، السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان، أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهر الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك، وجعلنا من أنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم كل وليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.